I am in $178,014.60 of debt, and I refuse to file for bankruptcy. I'm the one that created this mess, and I will get myself out of it. And before everyone starts, yes, I know I'm dumb. Yes, this shouldn't have happened, blah, blah, blah. I created this channel for me and for people with an interest in finance, as well, most importantly, for others that may be struggling with a similar situation that I'm in. And today I kind of want to give a breakdown of what debt I'm in, what my plan is, and kind of give a top-down view for what I'm going to do as far as getting out of debt and my plan. So as far as my debt, it consists of three separate things which are kind of combined together. The first one is my federal and private student loans. Well, I guess the first two are my federal and private student loans, which total to just about $118,217.17. And this is, of course, like I said, between federal and private student loans, majority of which are private student loans. So that really sucks. But that's where the giant chunk of all the debt I'm in comes from, as well as the other part that makes up this trio of debt is credit cards. And unfortunately, I am one of those people that spent way, way, way too much money on credit cards, and it really has bit me in the butt. So that's why I want to do this and why I want to get out of it most of all, is because I don't like living in credit card debt and having all these payments that I have to make and really just suffering through my stupidity. I don't want this to be something that stays with me forever. So that is the debt that I'm in. And now let's talk about what I bring home, where it goes, and what I'm going to do. So I won't go into specifically what I do for work, but I will say for my full-time job, I work in banking, which is ironic. I know. Yes, don't even start with me. Majority of this happened before I started working in the banking finance industry. So yeah, I know better. And that's also what kind of helped light the fire up under my rear to help me put myself out there and try to get after this. But every 2 weeks on average, I make $1,450 after taxes. That is what I bring home. And that's after all of my taxes, like I said, as well as deductions for health, retirement, etc., everything else that goes into that. So monthly, I bring home $2,900 from my full-time job. I do have two other side jobs, one of which I'm still in the process of starting and don't have really good numbers for it. So I'm not going to include it in the income yet, but once I have got good numbers and reliable numbers as far as like, this is what we look like for an average, or between these months, this is what I bring in, then I will add that into it. But right now it's very like, we can make $0 or we can make $1,000. And I don't feel like putting that out there and adding it into this. That'll be just too much to do for how little I'm wanting to put into this video and as far as specifics, but we're not counting that one yet. But for the one that I will include, it is doing payroll for a small business here in my hometown, as well as adding some extra stuff I bill for. But an average I will say that I make with this job is $300 every 6 weeks, so $600 a month. But with that job, I pay $150 for a cellular plan that I can use data and be able to work on it anywhere I go. And I also try to put away at least $50 a month to cover self-employment tax. That leaves me with about $400 to play with from that job. So in totality, every month I bring home an average of $3,300 a month between my full-time job and one of the side jobs that is actually bringing in income. With that, what are my have-tos that I have to pay every single month? Right now, it's a little bit on the higher side just because of my power, which is one thing that will be a much more variable expense as we go throughout the year, and it drops off because right now, since it's winter, I have to pay for heat, and all of my heat is electric, so it's even more expensive. But out of that $3,300 a month, $753 goes to rent. That's including the fees that I have to pay. $150 goes to power. $1,352.72 goes to my private student loans. Internet is about $75 a month, and the minimums for all of the credit cards are $820.70 per month. So that total comes to $3,151.47 just on the have-tos. After all of my have-tos, I have roughly $148.53 left to buy food, make extra payments, have fun, and cover any emergencies. That isn't a whole lot to really use in that situation. At some point, we can go in depth on individual parts of this, but right now, what is my plan to take care of this? Obviously, first is to try and make more money. My full-time job only allows 1 hour of overtime a week, 4 hours a month, so not a whole lot that I can really do as far as overtime and bringing in extra money from that job. I will definitely try to get that 4 hours every single month, but it's, in my opinion, not going to affect me quite as much as I wish it could. Second, I'm going to try and find more things to bill for with my payroll job, whether that be extra reports and anything like that. I have been kind of throwing them a bone and doing a lot of stuff for cheaper, but in 2026, I plan on kind of changing that because I'm tired of giving myself away for no reason when I could be earning more money. And if they don't want to pay it, I'll find somebody that will actually pay me that amount. I'm tired of selling myself short. And when it comes to selling stuff, I want to sell anything that I don't need, I don't use, or isn't capable of making me money. Anything like that, I need gone and can use the money for it to benefit me in any way possible. As well, when it comes to money, any bonuses, tips, gifts that I receive are going to go immediately into paying on debt. And that kind of leads me into the next topic. So when it comes to making payments, how am I going to best get out of debt? And predominantly, I'm going to use the snowball method. For those of you that don't really know what the snowball method is, what you do is you make minimum payments on everything, but your smallest debt that you have, you attack with volition and hate, and every extra cent you have goes to that debt. And once that one is paid off, you take what you were paying on that debt and move it to the next smallest and the next smallest, and just work your way up until you have paid off all of that debt with what you were paying. And that's what I plan on doing. With that being said, I'm going to start by paying on one of my credit cards with every extra cent that I have, the one that has the lowest balance, of course, making my way through them and then transitioning over to my private student loans. I may transition to a different method, maybe something like the avalanche method for those, but we'll have to see. I think last time I went in, I looked at interest rates and stuff like that. It was already kind of set up to be avalanche method through the snowball method. So we may just continue on the path that we are on with those, but there may be one or two that get flipped around. But that'll come in due time once we get there. I don't want to be trying to get way ahead of myself before I even have the ship in the ocean. I don't want to plan on sailing across the pond. But finally, when it comes to my federal loans, I'm probably going to do something different with them completely, but that will come at a later time. So that's how much debt I'm in and what I plan on doing for it and how to get out of it. If you are somebody that is interested in my story, I plan on doing a full breakdown each month to cover what payments I've made, where I'm at, how I'm feeling, and how much debt I have paid off. As well as I want to have other topics about finances and my story kind of filtered in between all of those videos and just kind of share a little bit more about my situation. So if you are in something similar, you know that you're not alone, as well as if you're just interested in finance and you've never been in this situation, but you kind of want to know what it's like, I'll have videos kind of expressing that to you guys. So if you are interested in my story and you want to know more, definitely hit that subscribe button, like this video, as well as ring that notification bell so that you stay up to date with all of my future videos that I put out. And if there are any topics that you would like covered, for example, what I plan on doing with my federal student loans, leave me a comment down in the comment section down below, because I would really love some feedback from you guys on what I can do to get out of this, what methods you think are the best, and what kind of topics you would like me to cover in the future. So with that, you guys, thank you for coming to this channel. My name is Dan, and this is Debt with Dan. So yeah, thank you all for taking the time to watch this, and I hope you're interested in my story. But with that, I'll see you in another debt breakdown. Bye.